The annual meeting. It's a real enjoyment to hear him and his group play their songs. They are very, very educational and entertaining and humorous. The belly laughs I get off his band are unbelievable. Alan, I'd like to bring you up to the stage here to talk.
You want me up until what, 10 o'clock tonight? Hello everybody, I'm Alan Korwin. Nice to see you all. So I will be out of here by 10 tonight, so no need to worry. I've written 14 books, 6 of them myself and 8 with co-authors, and I was a little late today because just this morning my 15th book came out. It's an autobiography of my dad, Irving, who was a World War II veteran with top secret clearance, and I had to stop off and give him a copy. Was that okay? He taught our pilots what radar was in World War II, because nobody knew, and you weren't allowed to use the word radar in public because it was a secret. They didn't know we had it. They didn't know what it did. This was before there was television. Nobody had seen images on a screen. That's a long time ago. And he still drives his red Cadillac, so be careful if you're in Scottsdale. I want to talk to you about a word that the media is using to take away your guns. And where's Sheriff Mack? I want him to hear this. Sheriff? Is that Sheriff? Sheriff, where are you? Come on up here. Did he do a good job or what? Sheriff, come on up here with me. We'll do this together. The media has suckered him and you into talking about school shootings and the shooters. How many of you guys are shooters? I'm a shooter. Shooting is good, right? Yeah. You want to go out and get more people to go shooting. Shooting is good. Murder is bad. The media doesn't talk about murders, and they don't talk about mass murder, and they don't talk about the murderer. They talk about shooters. And they have convinced this good guy to talk about school shootings. The problem is school murders and mass murderers and school murderers, you get it? And I listen to you. You can go now.
I don't have to stay after school anymore?
Thank you. He's a good guy, deserves another round of applause. When you go home tonight and watch TV, whether it's Fox or the Communist News Network or MSNBC, which is a little hard to take, but you should watch them some to see what they do, you're going to hear shooter and shooting, and you will not hear murder, murderer, killing, spree killing, villain, criminal. You will not hear that. And you're going to listen to school shooter when you should hear school murderer. Shooting is good. Shooters are good. That word can be used for us positively all over the place, and we need more shooters. The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a program coming up called Let's Go Shooting. They are compromising that word and vilifying you without you knowing it. This is what the left does. They are bottom-feeding maggots, and that's what they do to you, and it pisses me off if you can't tell. Now, you should never use the word shooting or shooters in that context ever, because murder is bad, and they don't want you to think of these people as bad. They're making them into countercultural heroes. They are glorifying them. They are putting them on TV, showing their pictures, announcing their names, and they copy each other. It's not magic. It's not automatic. They are making it happen. When I was a kid, you could buy a gun through the mail. Do you remember that? How many of you are as old as I and can remember that? They were advertising guns in comic books. You could buy a gun through Sears Roebuck by sending in money and they would mail you a gun. You could buy one in a hardware store. My high school had a rifle team. They're in my yearbook. We had a shooting range in the basement. Nobody shot each other. Does anybody remember school murders, mass murders, when you were going to high school? No. Something changed. We couldn't even think of such a thing. Where did they get that idea? Where did they get that idea? Where did that idea come from? TV.
Movies.
The movies. The music industry. Video games gave kids that idea. That's where that idea came from. What you should see on TV is interviews and attacks on the people who make the psychoactive drugs that these kids are on. The movie moguls who are making movies that propagandize and brainwash kids into thinking murder is okay and that killing is fun, they should be interviewed every time you hear the word gun, assault rifle, AK-57, AR-15, every time you hear those words, you should hear movie, video game, big pharma, psychoactive drugs. That should be there when you hear this other crap. But you don't. They are promoting mass murder. They are denigrating guns, shooting, and shooters. Shooters are good. Murderers are bad. I saw a t-shirt the other day, and it said, "Dear God, why are you allowing such violence in our schools?" And underneath that it said, "I'm not allowed in school anymore, signed God." This is the real problem. They are attacking your guns and using tragedy to do it. That's not reporting news. That's propaganda. They should be reporting on the causes, and every time there's a mass murder, we get the exact same thing and it's predictable. I turned on the news, not knowing I turned on the TV, not knowing what was happening, tuned into Fox, and in 30 seconds, I had every scrap of information there was. The name of the school, the body count, the name of the perpetrator, his face, and that was the end of all the factual information there was. And then I knew I could switch to the other channels and get the exact same information, see the exact same video loops, right? The same video loop, cops standing around, doing nothing, armored for Armageddon, over and over, and I went, well, there goes the news. There's nothing to watch with lunch because I won't get any other story. They will preempt them all, and here comes the crying people, the grief, the arguments against the NRA, the gun types, gun owners, and let's take the guns away, and debates that do nothing. Not a word about the real cause, why things changed, why we have this problem, nothing. The same thing I got last time, and the time before, and the time before. And if you ask the media about this, they'll tell you, well, this is what people want. There's a technical word for that. Bullshit. This is not what we want. We want news, and there isn't any. And I'm not even sure news of a psychotic kid committing murder 2,400 miles away is news here. I'm not sure that's news. Maybe it is for a minute, A psychotic went crazy in a school. He's been captured. Now for the news of the Muslim jihadis training in Chad. That's what we should be getting. Landlocked Chad is training Muslim jihadis. They won't even say that, let alone report on the camps that we know about, the ones that were destroyed, the plots that we're aware of, and the countermeasures we're taking. Not a peep. Just 24 hours a day of video loops. So when you go home tonight and you watch any of the channels, and remember, if you watch ABC or NBC, you'll see BS. Just checking if you're listening.
We're listening.
We're running into my 15 minutes. You watch. They're going to tell you shooter and shooting over and over and over in print, in broadcast, on the web. You write them and tell them, I think you're talking about murder and murderers and spree killing, and I'm a shooter, and be careful with your language. Be precise with your language. Don't attack me. My gun didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. 100 million gun owners didn't do anything. You've got a psychotic on psychoactive drugs. Let's hear from the drug companies. Let's hear about every other mass murderer on drugs. Let's hear from the people making these movies, and go find one of these newsreels that has one murder after another senseless murder. And what happened to if you kill somebody, you go to hell forever, and that was a deterrent? And it's not a deterrent anymore. They don't understand that. This is the heart of the problem. Now, I write about this on gunlaws.com. If you want to get my analysis, my news, my inside line on what's happening, you just go to gunlaws.com, I post it, I email it, and if you want to hear about my 97-year-old top secret clearance World War II vet dad that came out this morning, it's not even on our website. I have a couple of samples, and he's thrilled. He was like beside himself, and then went down for lunch. Thanks very much, everybody.
Can I have another round of applause? 97 years old. You hear about these World War II vets and their longevity because they were true fighters and they fought for life and they're still out there kicking. So thank you. Thank your dad for service. I have 3